We're going to get straight on, Patrick, with, well, deaths as a result of the Pfizer vaccine, or at least that seems to be the case. It's an article from Global Times. Now, I've seen a number of people talking about this, but there wasn't too much in the mainstream press for some strange reason. Certainly didn't see anything in the British mainstream press about it. But the Chinese have covered it, and the headline here is Chinese health experts call to suspend Pfizer's mRNA vaccine for elderly after Norwegian deaths. They're saying that especially amongst elderly people, due to the vaccine's safety uncertainties following the deaths of 23 elderly Norwegian people who received the vaccine. They go on to say that the new mRNA vaccine was developed in haste and has never been used on a large scale for the prevention of infectious disease. Its safety has not been confirmed for large-scale use in humans. And they're saying that the death incidence in Norway also proved that the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine's efficacy was not as good as expected. As of Thursday, that was yesterday, Norway has reported 23 deaths in connection with vaccination, and 2 of the COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna are used in Norway. The vaccines have been developed on mRNA technology and have received temporary approval in the EU, according to the agency. Well, the question is Global Times correct? This, of course, is effectively Chinese state media. So let's have a look. And here is the Norwegian equivalent of the MHRA. That's the headline. We'll just do a quick translate of that. Reported side effects after coronavirus vaccine as of January the 14th, 2021. 23 deaths have been reported in connection with vaccination. So far, 13 of those have been assessed. Common side effects may have contributed to frail elderly people, and that is the key point of the Norwegian statement here. But Patrick, you'll be glad to know, therefore, that the British government is extremely excited about the fact that more than a third of over 80s have now been vaccinated against COVID-19. We haven't heard anything from government, from the Office for National Statistics, or from Public Health England, or from the NHS, or from anyone else about how many of those over 80s have had adverse reactions. Of course, as we pointed out on the programme earlier in the week, the MHRA does have a section, a website for their so-called yellow card incidents, which is where they're recording adverse reactions as a result of COVID-19 vaccines, but they're not publishing any data. So the government saying more than a third, that's 1 million, a third of the 1 million people aged 80 and over in England have received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine as of the 10th of January. They're saying that older people are more likely to die from COVID-19, which is why they're being given the vaccination first.
Well, it seems like they're on the right pathway, so to speak, Mike.
The right pathway, indeed.
According to the Norwegian reports there. Isn't that interesting? So China is throwing up a roadblock for the mRNA vaccines. Well, if you want to call them vaccines, that's another topic that's being hotly debated right now, whether they actually are vaccines or whether they are therapeutics or medical devices, as some experts have said. So if China blocks that, that's quite a big thing. It's population 1.5 billion, major partner with the World Health Organization. So wouldn't that have ripple effects right across the world, especially in terms of the WHO?
Well, you would think so if there's any sort of public recognition that this type of thing was going on. But of course, silence in the press means it isn't happening.
I can't imagine why the British and American presses aren't running with this as their lead story on every major media outlet. Why wouldn't they? I
can't imagine. We might offer a suggestion in a few seconds' time, but I just want to finish this segment by quoting a little bit more from this press release. Public Health England will continue to monitor the long-term safety, uptake and efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine. So this is a trial that's going on at the moment, and they are going to monitor it, but they're not going to tell us.
The trial is the public at large.
Yes.
So that the real trial is being done by the public. So this is unprecedented.
Totally unprecedented.
So this is an intermediate phase of a trial that's meant to take 2 years, and they'll report back to us on how things went after 2 years. In other words, what happened to the public?
Or they might not report back at all because we've got silence, crickets, tumbleweed, however you want to describe it.
So is this not the world's biggest ever human experiment in effectively a genetic experiment because it is gene therapy by the definition of gene therapy, injecting RNA into another human and expecting that to insert itself in the human genome. By definition, that is gene therapy, or a type of genetic engineering, actually, by definition. And this is being done without any final animal trials, clinical trials. It should take 10 years to test and regulate an experimental, brand new genetic technology, right?
Absolutely. Well, look, let's consider the silence of the press on this. Well, you know, many people critical of the press, justifiably so, for basically towing the government line on everything that's been going on the last year and a bit.